Warriors, hear me out. Barbie, yes, Barbie, that Barbie doll is an American icon. Now, before you tune out, perhaps, that includes you men, Ken's also an American icon. I want you to understand what I'm talking about here and why I'm telling you about Barbie and Ken. I just got back from a wonderful exhibit here in New York City at the Museum of Arts and Design in Columbus Circle, the west side of New York City, bordering on Central Park. And the museum has an exhibit all about the history of Barbie. Barbie has been with us since 65 years. And I thought to myself, wow, she has gone through a lot of different administrations in Washington, and she has endured a lot of different decades and things going on. And yes, I'm wearing my Barbie pink because I met up with a group of friends and we decided to have a Barbie afternoon, a day of an afternoon of getting together and talking and just discussing the cultural importance of Barbie. And you know what? Everybody should have an experience like this. Now, why I'm telling you about this is because as I got to the museum, I was the first one to arrive, and I like to focus and watch what's coming through the door, and I'm standing there waiting for all of the other ladies. And I can't tell you the joy it gave me to see little girls, 10-year-old girls, teenage girls, mothers, grandmothers, and lots of dads, families pouring in. This is like an event, a family event. And that to me is music to my ears. Just to see families coming out on a Sunday afternoon, New York City, enjoying the weather. I don't know, it's, like high 50s, and dressing up as I'm in my Barbie pink. A lot of different people are dressed up in pink and just letting go. I feel like we all can breathe now after the last couple of years. Do you feel that way? We can breathe. But I'm here to remind you, what is the cultural importance of Barbie? As I looked at it, and I'm old enough to go back and realize the Barbie that started, in 1959. I was born in 61. I remember the Barbies from the early 60s and the way they looked and felt and were constructed. And to see that and why that Barbie was built. The woman who is said to have developed Barbie, come up with the idea, is a woman named Ruth Handel and her daughter Barbara. She wanted to create something for her daughter, thus Barbie. But just think about how Barbie endured. So she goes through the 60s, kind of nice, the 70s, okay, 80s. But the point of this is she reflected what was going on in society. Do you know that Barbie has had over 250 careers, and it reflected what was happening in society? So especially the late 70s, I'll say, they would show the Barbie dolls transitioning into, becoming nurses, becoming doctors, moving into the 80s, becoming astronauts. They had a whole display about a Barbie astronaut. And frankly, I've been out of the Barbie loop a little bit. I did not know there was a Barbie astronaut at one point. I guess I missed that somewhere. But then getting into the 80s, remember the Dynasty era, and we had people like Bob Mackie designing. That is the era that people started collecting these designer Barbies. And I know one woman who has, at last count, she has like 900 Barbies, and she collected them. Every time a new one came out, she was rushing to get it. So I'm saying this is something we don't really see a lot of that can last 65 years through all the mess our country's been going through, right? The world's been going through. But again, to see a Sunday afternoon, and I started out a little bit early in the day, families pouring into this Museum of Arts and Design to go through the 2 floors of the history of Barbie, and it's set up very well. And also a lot of dads. I love seeing the family unit. There was a man next to me, and it was his little grandson was there with grandma, and they had an older granddaughter who was maybe about 8 with the mom, and just a beautiful, beautiful feel-good thing. But most of us are thinking of Barbie these days because that movie Barbie came out, which a lot of people were jumping on. Do you remember the movie? It was fairly recently. They were saying it was woke, it was this, it was that. But I suggest that you maybe watch that again if you have a little bit of time and understand the messaging in that, because that movie didn't bother me at all. I'm just going to put it at that. I want to get back to the history of Barbie. In 1980, Barbie came out with the black Barbie and the Hispanic Barbie. And then we had Christy. Remember Christy? She came out in the 70s. I can remember all of those things. It was a big deal at the time. And why not have, as I think about this, black dolls for black children? Why not have Hispanic-looking dolls for Hispanic children? Barbie did it, the first one to do it. And then we had Ken. And so we had all of that going on. But just to see people having joy in New York City, the United States, after what we've been through, I think I have to share with you. Therefore, you can see me in my Barbie pink, which I'm going to keep on all afternoon and continue the feel good of the afternoon. I don't want to remind everybody, for kids, it is wonderful for little kids to play with dolls, to dress the dolls, to create dreams and, their own stories, and take the little houses and the cases and build their own environment and get the kids off the devices, right? Look, these devices, phones, laptops, Chromebooks, gaming, not going away. We know that. We don't want it to go away because I'm talking to you right now. Perhaps you're across the world. Perhaps you're next door. I don't know. We're not giving up our devices, but we can limit the time. And it's not a hard kind of, you're not going on that computer. You're not going to play games. You got to work with your kids. You got to work. So maybe if you're listening to this, you want to reintroduce play with hands, coordinating outfits, building. Maybe you have blocks in the house, building the house with the blocks. I have wonderful memories of collecting Barbies, collecting the outfits. We used to drive in New Jersey to Corvettes. Does anybody remember Corvettes? EJ Corvettes. And they sold all of the outfits. And it was really something I still think about. It was so exciting as a kid when my mom said, hop in the station wagon and we're all going to go and you can all pick out 2 outfits. I loved it. And we have to bring back those feelings for kids. And we have to do the job that our government hasn't done, our schools aren't doing, and it's not their job anyway. So let's get back to feeling good. January 2025, a lot of great things are going to be happening. They already are. There is a sense of relief. A lot of people are whispering to me. Doesn't matter, you voted left, right, up, down, whatever you're doing, people are confiding in me there's a sense of relief. And they may have voted Democratic, Republican, doesn't matter. We're going into the holiday season. We have Thanksgiving coming soon, going to Christmas and Hanukkah and the New Year's. Let us come together. The pendulum is definitely swinging back. Don't poo-poo Barbie and Ken. Look into it. Share. The history, it's a wonderful thing. Something can last 65 years and be as popular as I saw it today with every age demo. It's fantastic. I had to share this with you before I took my Barbie outfit off because you know what? It's a feel-good, and we all need feel-good. You know what? Our hashtag is Community Creates Change. I'm urging each and every one of you, as we start the fresh week tomorrow, let's make it the best one yet. Wake up each and every day, count your blessings, kiss your kids, and go out and be a warrior.